Alright guys, so today we're going to do a first of a multiplayer battle here for me. That's kind of new. Usually I'm doing campaign or lore stuff, but I figured I'd really take a crack at multiplayer competitiveness as I'm not that great at it, and it always can help to be better at something I'm just fucking rubbish at. So let's just get down to brass tacks here. So it looks like we've got vampire counts and vampire counts versus a joint clan, or no, Clan Angrund and the Dwarves. So you can see for me, I brought just a typical smattering of Graveguard and Skeleton Warriors with 2 units of Graveguard with great weapons. And I have quite a few Crypt Horrors. I've got 3 units of Crypt Horrors here because I know that's going to do really well against what I would typically assume would be a heavy dwarf presence of armor, and the armor piercing is definitely going to help, and the Vargulf as well is going to help as well to just break through that armor. And I went with Isabella von Karstein rather than the Red Duke, because the last game I did the Red Duke with, I just got my ass handed to me, so why not mix it up? My ally, on the other hand, went with a little bit different of an approach. He went with a lot more Skeleton Warriors than I did, a whole hell of a lot more. But he also went with more Crypt Horrors and more Vargulfs than I did. And he also went with Helman Gorst, and he had some, I think he had some Karen Race around here somewhere. Yeah, here we go, some Karen Race just going and charging off, and a Spectre with them as well, or a Banshee, sorry. And in a sudden turn of events when the game started, they had quite a few gyrocopters, which, I have no idea what the hell to do with that. And I know that since Undead really don't have range, they're kind of shit out of luck with that. But my thought was, okay, they've got to have a lord around here somewhere. And you can see that he decided to hide in the bushes, this little bastard, with all of his shirtless dwarf slayers. Tons of slayers. So he knew that there was going to be a lot of monstrous creatures because we were vampire counts, and he knew that Crypt Horrors were probably going to be our go-to. And he's got pretty much every one of the Clan Angrund ghost heroes on his side. The dwarf guy went with Ungrim Iron Fist, and then Clan Argon obviously went with Belagar Ironhammer. Now, again, this battle kind of becomes a little bit of a clusterfuck as things really get going. The gyrocopters come in pretty quick and hot and heavy, just looking to spread that thunder on, and they do. But in a kind of a weird turn of events, the guy only really targeted the Skeleton Warriors, which someone in the comments can correct me here. I wouldn't think that would be your go-to target. I would think it would probably be the Crypt Horrors, or if anything, the great weapon Graveguard. I would hope you'd want to get them down, but I guess the Skeleton Warriors are more of a threat for the Slayers or something of that sort. But here I go charging in headlong with my Vargulf just to see what's in these bushes, because I had kind of thought, all right, this thing's pretty much over with, but lo and behold, I find the mighty Slayer army, and I retreat out of that. In retrospect here, I come to the forest line here, the line of the forest, and I should have done a better job of flanking and coming behind the dwarves, because they clump up here really hard. And I'll be honest, the fight becomes pretty much a giant cockfight here in the forest. My allies hanging back pretty heavy, letting the gyrocopters kind of run through their ammunition. You can see they're burning through it pretty heavy on the Skeleton Warriors, which, again, I think that's a pretty weak target. Someone in the comments, please jump in here and tell me otherwise. Turin is my go-to guy when it comes to multiplayer stuff, so I'm kind of just putting my hand in this and seeing if I can get any better. But then I got a full scale of charge here. I went in with all of my Crypt Horrors, right for everything, and got my Skeleton Warriors and Graveguard pretty balls deep in. And you can see I started to try and flank, but not well enough. I got a little too anxious that I was going to start losing unit cohesion, so I jumped in there pretty balls deep. And then here's my allies Vargulfs coming in, taking their precious sweet time as that's kind of the theme of my ally in this one. But I still really like the fact that he seemed to know a little bit more of what he was doing, which definitely helped out in the long run. Because I think had it just been me, things would have the tides would have turned pretty quickly. Because I noticed there was a pretty heavy clump here, and I was using Isabella to drop a couple magic bombs in the center. I should have used Winds of Death. I think it would have been a pretty good usage here, but Lo and behold, I did not do that. The Belagar, I'm sorry, the Clan Angrund dude seemed to have been doing a lot of runes on Belagar. You can see almost, not right now, but for the majority of the fight, there's almost always a rune of Oath and Steel on him, or a Mighty Rune, so he's almost always buffed up. And I tried to keep my Vargulf right here buffed up, and attacking as much as I could of the heroes. I kind of got a little scatterbrained in the beginning here because I was kind of terrified as to what was going on, but it just kind of takes a little bit of a self-discipline, I'd definitely say, to get an idea of, okay, hey, have more of an idea of what's going on behind you, because I didn't realize what these gyrocopters were doing. They were just plucking away at my units every now and then, which weren't even engaged. I wasn't taking a look properly at the unit cards to see, hey, that they weren't fighting, and that probably would have pushed this game a little bit quicker. I mean, this turned out to like a 11-12 minute match, but it probably could have been a 7-8 minute match had I actually fully committed all my units rather than kind of having them hang out here, because these guys are just getting hit non-stop by these gyrocopters, which are just about out of ammunition. And then as soon as they they drop ammunition, I believe they withdraw them, because they go for a brief charge, and then I think the guy just goes, ah, screw it, we're gonna lose this one, and withdraws. But the Slayers are getting picked apart pretty quickly by Crypt Horrors and these Cairn Wraiths. And the anti-infantry on all of the Crypt Guards is definitely helping out to saw through those Slayers pretty quickly. I mean, you can see that it's just a fucking bloodbath in there. There's blood spraying everywhere. There's like a dwarf eye on someone's shield. I don't even know. But it kind of... I spent the majority of my time right around here trying to focus my Vargulf on Belagar as much as possible. Who's right there? He is. Little shit just jumping in. Oh my god! He just teabagged that Crypt Horror. I didn't know they did that. Oh. But see, as you can see, stand your ground, Foe Seeker. The Oath and Steel was on him a second ago, so he's pretty much buffed the entire match. And I really think that what won the day here was poor placement on their end. They kind of pulled up a little too much, and their Slayers were in the back more often than not, because we were summoning skeleton warriors and zombies behind them to really kind of keep that back pressure on and make sure that flank negative leadership bonus was almost always factored into the dwarves. As you can see, Belagar starts to break here pretty soon. Let's speed this up a bit to get to that. But yeah, you can see it just comes down to pretty much the heroes in a massive cockfight together with all these Crypt Horrors and Vargulfs. And you can see my Vargulf just kind of knocking around Belagar like he's just a little rag doll. Yeah, that's right. Take it. Ugh, come back here. Ugh, ugh. Dwarves are just not cool. They smell like cabbage. Look at these little runts. And then just a round-robin gangbang. You can really get in there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh. Belagar just getting raffle stomp by these Crypt Horrors and Vargulf. Dude, look at the hairy ass on that guy. Hasn't shaved the undercarriage in probably centuries since he's a ghoul. Oof. Lord Belagar falls to the mighty hands of the Crypt Horrors, while the rest of his compatriots pretty much just hold out. It just becomes, after this, just a slow war of attrition with... I think there's 3. Yeah, there's the third one right here. The heroes just kind of being hacked apart, bit by bit, by all the Crypt Horrors and everything around. I mean, I'm constantly using Invocation of Nehek and Isabella's ability to boost the defense and attack of all the undead in a certain area. Having this been my first time using Isabella, I have to say she was an amazing lord. Definitely going to be my go-to when I use vampire counts, as I'd say that vampire counts is my go-to as a whole. There was another battle shortly before this where I did Bretonnian, and I'll definitely post that one up there, but it was nowhere near as vainglorious as this giant forest cockfight here. It's pretty great, and you can see Belagar's is on his last leg. Getting smashed to bits. Let's speed this up here a little bit again. Definitely helped that my ally went with a similar army composition as myself. But like again, he seemed to know what he was doing a little bit more and what he was up against. And I'm still very much learning, but at the same time, I'd rather learn by screwing up rather than learning by someone just by just reading it online and someone telling me. This way, that kind of helps reinforce the errors and reinforce what I did right, which I definitely think that bringing this amount of crypt cores still helped out, because these heroes just are not going down easy, even they're surrounded and just being clusterfuck like this. Because I think that since these guys are the ghost one from the campaign, they're unbreakable. So they're just going to sit there and get beat around like rag dolls. But thanks for joining me, guys. This is going to be one in many to come of multiplayer casts where hopefully I won't be as lost or out of control, and hopefully I'll get a better idea or sense of what's going on. Thanks for joining me. This is Italian Spartacus as always, and hope to have you guys subscribe and see more of my glorious teabaggings of dwarves on Vargulfs. Have a good one, guys. Bye.